Look, 99.9% of sports bettors lose money. So the purpose of this video is to explain why it is still possible for you to make money consistently month over month, but you need to do me a favor. Forget everything you know. Most sports bettors are very dumb. They trust their gut or they trust and pay a scammer for picks. So what we're going to be going through in this video is very different. And again, you're not going to hear this from the sports books because the sports books are your enemy. They don't want you to make money, right? So I'm going to be explaining to you why it's possible to make money sports betting. And the first reason, it's very simple, right? It's very simple, is there are multiple sports books and they want to be unique. So what I mean by that is FanDuel, it's not exactly like DraftKings. I mean, sure, they're pretty similar. You can bet on the Celtics on both platforms tonight, but they set different lines from one another. They have different odds from one another, right? FanDuel doesn't want to be DraftKings. They don't want to have the exact same odds. So these sports books, they set lines independently. And there's a lot of sports books, right? I think there's like over 1,000 in the world, right? Well over 1,000, probably over 1,000 in the United States. And all of these books, right? They want to set lines independently. They do set lines independently. So they have different odds or prices from one another. Now, if you think about that, it's literally insane, right? It's literally like, imagine going to your Fidelity account versus your E-Trade account, and you see the price of a stock at the exact same time, is $160 versus say $200. You'd be like, why is there a $40 gap? And it's no different in sports betting. Odds are different from book to book, and odds are just the exact same thing as prices. So sportsbooks want to set lines independently. And that's the first thing you need to realize in terms of why it's possible to make money sports betting. So the first thing you need to understand is books have different lines from one another, right? That's why you find pricing discrepancies. It's like Bitcoin being priced at $20,000 on one exchange, and then you literally go over to a different one and it's $25,000, right? Just differences in pricing. And the second reason you need to understand is all of these books want to offer tons of markets, right? They want to make the bettor happy. It's like a restaurant. They want to offer vegan options. They want to make all the customers happy. So you can see FanDuel right here. They offer live betting. They offer NBA, college basketball, NHL, golf. I mean, basically every single major sport is here. And then just for one NBA game, I mean, you can see the quantity of Jokic, alternate rebounds, over 10.5, over 11.5, 12, 13, 14. The amount of markets they offer, FanDuel alone, FanDuel's a sportsbook, they offer approximately 10,000 odds or things you can bet on per NBA game, right? So you take into account all of these markets, all of these alternates, as well as, let's go to like second quarter, for example, second quarter alternate total points. You take into account all these things, FanDuel, and they're pricing this independently. They're doing it with no help. All these books set lines independently. The odds on FanDuel are not the same as the odds on DraftKings. So they're all doing this independently, right? So they're offering, each sportsbook's offering hundreds of thousands of odds, and occasionally they screw up, and that's what we're going to get into, right? They can't keep everything in check. FanDuel is setting tons of lines, as you can see here, and they can't keep everything in check. So basically, if you think about it, you have hundreds of sports books all running around trying to set lines independently and do hundreds of thousands of odds. They want to offer all sorts of markets for sports bettors to wager on. Tennis, total games, alternate games, game spread, money line, first set winner, right? All these sports books are trying to set these lines independently. They have different models from one another, and occasionally they screw up. Right? Occasionally, these books' models get out of sync with each other where there are massive line discrepancies. As a sports bettor, if you know what you're doing, of course, you can take advantage of these profitable betting opportunities if you notice when a sports book is screwing up. This is called sharp sports betting. You are taking advantage of inefficiencies in the market when sports books are giving you essentially odds that are too good to be true. As an example, you can imagine FanDuel has Embiid's line, let's say an NBA player prop, they're setting Embiid's player points line at 31.5. Every other sportsbook has him at, let's say, 34.5. Well, we have 15 data points, or however many data points are setting lines on Embiid points. there's probably at least 20 or something. They're all at 34.5. FanDuel's at 31.5. So we know FanDuel's too low, right? We want to take the over for Embiid. FanDuel's at 31.5. All the books are at 34.5. That's a market inefficiency. We want to take the over. Now, there's one final point to mention, which we'll get to in a second. But regardless, you get the point. You have dozens of data points telling you where the line should be set. In other words, sportsbook setting odds. All these books are running around independently telling sports bettors, hey, here's where the line should be set. And as a sharp bettor, you're simply picking off these inefficiencies. You're taking advantage of these market inefficiencies, right? You're like a day trader or an investor. You know, you're looking through the market. You're looking for good investments or good trades. It's no different as a sports bettor. Every book has Embiid's line at 34.5. We can get him at 31.5, hammer the over, right? Because FanDuel would be 3 points too low, so you want to take the over. So hopefully this was helpful. I have one more point, which we'll get to in a second. So the final or the fourth reason why it's so possible to make serious profit sports betting if you know what you're doing is sports betting is now mobile, right? For the most part, until legislation changed in about 2018, sports betting was not mobile, right? There were a few books online, kind of gray market books, but in general, most of it was done in person at a casino or with friends. So now that sports betting is mobile, if a sports book screws up, they're just a tab click away. They're just a tab click away. DraftKings is a tab click away from FanDuel. So if you see a profitable betting opportunity as a sharp bettor, it literally takes 10 seconds to go into that sports book and place that bet. Whereas if you were at a casino, let's say, and you knew there was a profitable bet at the Wynn Casino, what are you going to do? Walk a mile and then hope the line hasn't changed? Right? Sportsbooks, in the same way that sharp bettors can identify when they're screwing up. So as a sharp bettor, you know, as a profitable sports bettor, you only have a limited amount of time to getting your bet in before that line moves and the market adjusts. You know, going back to our example, if FanDuel has Embiid's line at 31.5, all books are at 34.5, it's not going to stay that way for 3 hours. FanDuel's eventually going to catch on as all the sharps hammer the over, so you got to move quick. And that's easy when it's mobile. It's very hard if you had to wager in person.